beauty of God, exquisite reflection of all purity and light, accepting this divine truth, accepting purity, accepting light, accepting beauty, is to allow the gates of limitation to dissolve and to recognize the beauty that has been waiting to be discovered, the light to be discovered. When the false identity is let go and the beauty is invited. This beauty has always existed as the truth of you, waiting for the false identity to be relinquished into the hands of God. The willingness to let go of the rules of the world of time, of limitation, of degrees and levels, of right and wrong and good and bad, letting it all go. No longer willing to make a separate world that only promotes suffering and imprisonment and a sense of darkness, a sense of suspicion, confusion. No longer willing to be distracted by the fleeting illusion of the everyday, but willing to come into your heart, breathe into your heart, accept the heart as one, to accept holy union as one, and to accept that eternal life is truly what exists, the true life of harmony and peace and joy. And you, in the belief of separation, are here to choose, are here to recognize that choosing is the way to freedom. To choose to let go of what's been fabricated as an identity, and to choose the light, to choose love, to choose harmony and peace, and to choose for humanity, to truly serve humanity's remembering by choosing to see only love, by choosing to hear only love, by choosing to see the divine in every beloved, the holiness of God within every beloved. In this moment, the willingness to breathe begins the yes. All day long you have this exquisite choice to breathe deeply and fully and consciously. Breathing with God, breathing in and out as the life force of God, of love. Breathing now, fully and deeply. And with every breath, inviting that restful, peaceful yes. Not willing to have any restrictions any longer of shallow breathing, restricted breathing, controlled breathing, but surrendering the breath, into love. And as you invite the breath deep, deep, deep within every cell, wanting this divine breath to touch and fill every cell with love, every molecule return to love. As you breathe with intention, staying focused in the moment, focused into this moment, and consciously breathing, bringing all the intention to the breath, but staying in awareness, staying in awareness of this moment, where you are making a choice to breathe, saying yes to love. And as you breathe in, you're breathing in the yes to love, and as you breathe out, exhaling all perceptions of limitation and separation, all beliefs of a separate me, calling into the holy union of love. And focusing into this moment. Breathing, allowing. And as you breathe in, surrendering the mind, surrendering all thoughts into the hands of God, purposely finding the intention within to want to just to surrender all thoughts into the hands of God, and praying for the intention and with the intention that you don't want to have any thoughts that are not the truth of love, that are not focused on wholeness, union, fluid love in every moment. And breathing into this moment, breathing into the throat, inviting the throat to open, willing to receive the truth of love. Opening, allowing. Surrendering the neck and the shoulders, arms and hands into the truth of God, into love. Relaxing everything and surrendering. Noticing where in this day you may have had thoughts that were made up, conceived of a problem, a difficulty, needing to come up with a solution, needing to figure things out, believing that there was something to figure out, and surrendering it all now into love. And breathing into the spine, surrendering the spine into the hands of God, willing for the spine to be fluid with love, moving easily and effortlessly into the truth of love. And breathing deeply into the heart, focusing on the heart. In this moment, bringing your attention to the heart center, possibly even touching the heart center to make contact with the intention of your heart being open and undefended. Focusing on that divine intention and affirming that this is the intention you want to walk in the world with. That you want to walk in the world with an open, undefended heart. Allowing the heart to come forward, open, no longer afraid of the need to defend in anything, in any way. Affirming love. Wanting to give the heart to every beloved. Wanting the rays of love to come pouring through the heart, channeled into the truth of God and pouring into every beloved with your intention. Not needing to keep the heart protected in any way. Letting everything open. And now breathing into the belly, surrendering all the organs into the hands of God. Surrendering the blood system, the nervous system, all the muscles, all the tendons, everything surrendered into the divine physician of love, to be used for love, only love. Breathing into the hips and thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and feet, all surrendered into the hands of God. And finding the willingness of the heart to affirm that you are willing to be the instrument of love, letting this body be the instrument of love, and letting it house your spirit, letting it be the vehicle that will demonstrate love, the spirit love that you truly are. The divine, eternal light of God, untethered, unbound, free, whole, and eternal. And breathing into the emotional body, the willingness to surrender the emotional body into the hands of God, to be used for love. No longer willing to have the mind and fear run the emotional body, no longer willing to believe the communication of fear through the emotional body, but willing to express compassion, harmony, peace, and joy in every moment. Breathing and allowing, and affirming that here in this infinite circle of love we are one, opening to the truth of love, the holy union, where you cannot distinguish a separate self, but willing to join with all of humanity as the one heart. Breathing into the healing power of love. Breathing. This sanctuary is filled with love, affirming that only love exists, staking the claim of love in every moment. This universe is all of love. There is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. And within this life force we live and move and breathe as one. One heart and one breath in complete devotion and complete dedication to the truth of love. And breathing, allowing, trusting, affirming. Only love is real, and nothing else exists. And finding that yes, to no longer be willing to worship anything other than the truth of love, to bring devotion completely to the truth of love, the truth of light, the truth of harmony and peace. The heart says yes. Breathing. Allowing this prayer to pierce through your heart's defenses and break through any defense system at all with your intention to remember love. Finding that deep intention within and letting it radiate into every cell. Oh, teach me to open my heart to those who come here to be healed. Oh, teach me to open my heart to this love, to heal all the pain in the world. We have strayed from the love of our Father and wandered in pain since our birth. It was the masters who came here to save us all, to release all the pain here on earth. Oh, my mother, the queen of the sea, it's your love that I feel inside me. Oh, teach me to love from the depth of my heart, to heal all the pain that I see. My master is here with her love. She knows how to care for us all. She loves everyone who has come to this work, all those who have answered this call. Oh, teach me to open my heart. Yes, there is a teaching. Show me how to open my heart, because I don't know. Letting yourself be led into every teaching that will bring the mysteries of healing into focus, that will bring the mysteries of healing into being, because you have invited the mysteries of healing. The willingness. Teach me to open my heart to this love. And through this love, all the pain that's been held in the world will be healed. The willingness to heal first from the inside out, and to bring every beloved into the heart. We have strayed from the love of God and wandered in pain since our birth. We incarnated because we believed we were separate. And now is the time for the Great Awakening, willing to join all awakened beings in the truth of love, willing to awaken to the light of truth. All the masters who came here to release all the pain here on earth, but that pain must be surrendered. All the pain of all the thoughts, of all the interpretations, all the pain of all the concepts and all the identities, surrendered into the hands of God. My mother, Queen of the Sea, it's your love that is inside. Let me find that love. Let me join in that love of truth. Teach me to love from the depth of my heart. Teach me. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to be available. Show me the way. Let this be my heart prayer for every moment. Find this willingness within your heart to listen only to the voice of love, and to stop listening to the voice of fear that has been made up, the voice of I know, and the willingness to hear the voice of love for every decision. And in that every decision, the world becomes evaporated into the light, and love is revealed. The willingness to accept love's calling. Holy, 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 the power of love, the divine Holy Spirit that is the truth of every beloved. In our Blessed Mother, it is the power of the divine that comes to celebrate within our hearts if we allow, if we undefend the heart. Then love can come to celebrate within and be discovered. Here in this divine mission of love, one must see and one must hear what the divine Holy Spirit is wanting to teach through every master. And now it is the hour for love to shine. This is the new mission that everyone has come to fulfill, to bring love to every beloved and the well-being of eternal life. The willingness to surrender, for all forever to sing and to praise and to adore the truth of the light. In complete devotion, holy, 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 this is the sanctuary of love. For all to remember in the truth of forgiveness, letting go of false identities, letting them drop away as if just a raindrop falling on the ground, letting them all go. To embrace the truth of eternal life, forever to sing, forever to affirm the truth of love. Allowing this prayer again to permeate through your yes. There is no magic in healing. It is the healing that comes through your yes, through your devotion, through your willingness. Saying, please take me so that I can remember the light. Take everything that I've made up and let it dissolve from my awareness and let me open to the light. Santo, 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 o poder de nosso Pai, o Divino Espírito Santo e a Virgem nossa Mãe, e o poder de nosso Pai que vem celebrar dentro dos corações, aqui nesta missão. Há que ver, há que ouvir, que o Divino Espírito Santo a trazer os corações. E agora chegou a batalha e a hora do amor para resplandecer. Santo, 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 esta casa do Santo Cruzeiro, para todos pedir o perdão e alcançar a salvação. Para todos para sempre cantar, adorar e louvar a Jesus Salvador. Para todos para sempre cantar, adorar e louvar a Jesus Salvador. Holy, holy, holy. The light, the beauty, the perfection of the divine Holy Spirit and our Blessed Mother. The welcoming of divine Spirit to guide, to lead, to show you the way, is the ease of love, is the ease of that beautiful guidance that is always available, the willingness to be guided, the willingness to question the authenticity of what is being made up in separation, the willingness to question the seeming duality of this world, to surrender into the heart of God all opinions and assessments and approvals of right and wrong and good and bad and light and dark, everything being surrendered into the light and inviting, inviting, inviting. Show me the way, show me the way, show me the way. And the heart says yes. And again, Hafiz is here in the light of the truth, wanting to transform and to open every heart, every master joined as the oneness, wanting to serve humanity's remembering. finding that yes. You were brave in that holy war. You have done well in the contest of madness. You were brave in that holy war. You have all the honorable wounds of one who has tried to find love where the beautiful bird did not drink, looking in all the wrong places. May I speak to you like we are close and locked away together? Once I found a stray kitten and I used to soak my fingers in warm milk. It came to think I was 5 mothers on one hand. Wayfarer, why not rest your tired body? Lean back and close your eyes. Come morning, I will kneel by your side and feed you. I will so gently spread open your mouth and let you taste something of my sacred heart and life, if you are willing to accept it. Surely there is something wrong with your ideas of God. Oh, surely there is something wrong with your ideas of God if you think our beloved would not be so tender. Awakening to the tenderness of God, to the light, to the ease, to the peace, instead of the battle that you have chosen. Connecting the dots and finding where you chose battle is essential to healing, to bring light and truth to every element of misperception, of misidentity, of misdirection, and the willingness to surrender. You have done well in the contest of madness. This is an important element of awareness in the truth of love, that the world is madness, that the world is completely mad. All the thoughts, all the perceptions of limitation, separation, and battle that comes under a million different disguises is all madness. Because it isn't love, it isn't harmony, it isn't peace. The willingness to accept a new way, the way of love. You have all the honorable wounds of one who has tried to find love where the beautiful bird does not drink. This is the clue. Looking for love in all the wrong places. Looking for needs to be fulfilled by outside sources, instead of coming home to the divine being of love that is within. The willingness to open the heart and let go of the mind. And if the mind is used, allowing the mind to be used by God, to be used to be filled with the truth of God, to bask in the truth of love over and over and over again. Wayfarer, lean back and close your eyes and rest in the truth of love. Resting in the truth that there is nothing for you to do. There's nothing you can do other than say yes to the truth of love. Imagine if you were aware and are willing to accept that the holy divine alchemy of love will heal whatever you offer. But if you are not willing to offer what is being fabricated, it can't be healed. It can't be eradicated. This is all about surrender. Surrendering what you think you know into the hands of God. What is the outcome that you want in the everyday life? This is a question that needs to be asked again and again and again. What is the outcome that you want? As you're walking through your day, as you begin your day with prayer, it is the question, what is it that you want? What is the outcome that you want? What is the outcome of that you want of every thought that you have? What is it that you possibly think it's going to give you? When you are making up your own thoughts, what is your expectation of that? What do you want it to do? And to really question what it's for. What is its purpose? What is the meaning that you are giving to everything? What is it for? What is the outcome that you want? Do you want peace or do you want to be right? These are the choices. When you have given meaning to something and you have a conclusion and a whole story that goes with it, you are wanting it to be right. You are wanting to be right rather than really wanting peace. Because that meaning that you're giving to every situation is coming from the past. And you want that meaning to agree with what you know rather than peace. Why does it seem so difficult to surrender what you think you know into the hands of God and to be led? This is the divine communion with God. The communion with God is life. When you're not in communion with the divine love of and light of all life, there is nothing actually happening at all. There is nothing there at all except through your communion, because that is the truth of your life. Every moment you can be in that communion because that is your natural state. Communing, resting, allowing, dancing with the truth of love. And in every moment being led until you melt into oneness and there's no more other. And the willingness to melt into that love. In every moment, you have the choice to surrender being personally concerned about and figuring out what is right or wrong. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you were no longer personally concerned with outcome and the belief of right and wrong? If you were no longer bringing that painful mind to every situation and trying to figure everything out, just walking into the front door and no opinion, walking out the front door, no opinion. Imagine living without the restrictions that have been self-imposed of time, of what time means. Have you questioned the meaning of time? What you have given meaning to in your belief of time? What is your relationship to time? What do you believe about it? What do you believe it's for? And are you willing to surrender all the beliefs of time into the hands of God? To be shown the way through the illusion of time and letting the Spirit of love use time for its only purpose, which is to heal and remember the truth of love, if you're willing. Willing, 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 that is always the key. to be willing. Surrendering and changing your beliefs is releasing the cause of your pain and fear. Oh my God. Here's the answer that you've been praying for. Surrendering and changing your beliefs is releasing the cause of your pain and fear. This is a path of connect the dots. The dots have to be connected. The dots have to be connected of where the pain and fear is coming from. That it's coming from the beliefs that you carry. The beliefs of being separate, the beliefs of having enemies, the beliefs of time, the beliefs of all the rules in the world. Those beliefs in the rules are filled with pain. But as long as you believe that your perceptions give you something and that they keep you in control and you want to be in control of your little world, then pain and fear will continue to reign. Because the dots haven't been connected yet of where the pain is coming from. The pain is coming from the belief that you are separate, you are without, and that there are rules to follow, not realizing that all these rules have been made up out of fear, out of pain, out of the belief of pain and fear. That's where the rules all came from. And you continue to follow them. How do you continue to follow them? It's so insidious that you don't even, unless you stop and ask, you're not even aware that you follow these rules. The rules of cause and effect. Someone does something, let's say a beloved in satsang sits in a particular chair one time. Your mind will grasp that and say, okay, this is the new rule. You now sit here. I now expect to see you in that same chair. There's no freedom here. These are all just rules that have absolutely no element of freedom in them. They're made to try to control your world through your mind of knowing. I now know that you are expected to sit in that chair. Now I feel safer. I feel safer because I think I know something. Where in the beauty, not recognizing that this is actually where all the pain is coming from. Because you want to hold on to every little element of knowing, and this is what makes you feel safe. Except that there is no safety there. And oh my gosh, what if nobody does what they're supposed to do? What if everyone doesn't sit in the same chair that they're supposed to? Or follow the same schedule? Or do anything in the way that they're supposed to, or the world doesn't behave as it's supposed to? Everybody gets extremely frightened. Because the mind is dependent on the world looking a certain way and staying a certain way in order to try to feel safe. But here is the insanity. Because the illusion, which is all the forms and everything else in this world, will never stay the same. And your opinion doesn't really have any meaning. As soon as you latch on to, it should be this way, something should be this way, that's a place of pain. It's a place of expectations. And in those expectations, there will be pain because you won't be able to control it. Because the world is forever moving, changing, shifting, because everybody believes in time. It's all held by time. None of this makes any sense. And it doesn't have any love there. It's all fear running. And then you can get down to it isn't even the chair that you're supposed to sit in. You're supposed to use a particular pillow. And if you don't use that pillow, then there's a shakeup. What? I already was over there expecting that. When you're already over there expecting a certain pillow to be used, and it doesn't matter, you can exchange pillow for food, you can exchange pillow for the way the light hits, you can exchange a pillow for the curtains being open, you can exchange for what somebody says, how they talk, what they mean, what their face shows, what doesn't matter what it is. It's all expectations. And in those expectations, by the rules that you have made, you want it a certain way. Unconsciously. This isn't something that you're actually thinking about consciously. This is habit. This is agreements. And it's so subtle that it doesn't really register that it would end up being painful. But all you have to do is not have it go your way or how you think it should be, and there's a shakeup. Let's say you're at work and you have a particular parking space. It doesn't have your name on it. It's just where you park. And you park there because that's what you believe is right. There's no surrender. There's no show me where to park. There's no I don't know where to park. No, that's my parking place. I park there every day. Except today because somebody else showed up and parked there. Oh no, my world is not in order as I wanted it to be. And it doesn't matter what it's about. It's all the same. It's trying to be in control of everything. Trying to contain a world so you feel safer. Not realizing it's actually that containment and that belief of right and wrong that's unconsciously running and developing fear within you. Because what the ego keeps saying is you can't trust anything. Because all you want to do is try to control this, and if somebody throws it off, you're in pain. But there never was any security in it to begin with, because it's not of love, it's of fear. Fear has built that world. Fear and pain have built that world of expectations of how things should be, instead of the willingness to release everything that you think you know about the world and surrender into resting in God, resting in the light. You have done well in the contest of madness. You are brave in that holy war. You have all the honorable wounds of one who tried to find love where the beautiful bird does not drink. The beautiful bird does not drink in your order. The beautiful bird does not drink in your habits. The beautiful bird does not drink in what your mind thinks how things should be. The beautiful bird that you're looking for is waiting as you open your heart and rest and let go of trying to control anything. Anything. How could it be possible to be so free? Free of the pain and the suffering? Well, the first element is to recognize where the pain and the suffering is coming from. It's only coming from the rules, the agreements that you have made. Everything about the body, everything about your world, everything that dictates how you are, it is coming from the fear of needing to be in control. It's like an agreement that everybody has made. Try to control it and battle with it as best you can. But there's no healing there. What if you were asking for everything? What would be most helpful in this moment? What if you actually surrendered your life and everything you think you know about it into the hands of God and said, take this life and show me a new way. I'm surrendering all the rules that I've made up. I am willing to be guided. Now the ego would say, okay, I'll do that a little while. Maybe I'll give it 10 minutes. I'm giving it 10 minutes of surrender. And then if it doesn't work and I don't see the light, you're out of here. I'm not going on with this. I like my way. I like my habits. I like my decisions. I like everything. But there's still not the connection of connect the dots. Because there's still then a complaint going on of the misery of being in an unnerved state all the time, of tension and doubt and hesitancy and suspicion, and not getting the connection that you keep choosing the same thing. In those battles, as Hafiz says, you have been brave in this holy war. You've been brave in this holy war because you keep doing the same things, expecting a different result. So this is, you have done well in the contest of madness, because we know what the description of madness is. It's doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. So here's one of the elements of why beloveds keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, other than it's just madness. Okay, so everybody's insane in that belief. But it's the belief in magic that is actually very prominent in the ego identity. The belief of magic says, I want to keep doing everything that I do, and then I want to be magically transformed without letting go of what I made up. I just want it magically to disappear because that's what I've believed all my life. That's what we believe as children, is that if you close your eyes and you wish it away, it should go away. It's never worked, but we keep believing in the magic that because we don't want to change. I've said this probably 1,000 times, that one of my first arrogant statements as I consciously entered the spiritual journey is, I want to be healed, but I don't want my life to change. I want it magically to just take the same form, take the same structure, everything be the same, and just magically it be better. And it be better because it's now of God, but it's still my world. And of course, this did not happen. I received healings, but as I healed, everything started shifting. Now, the ego does not like this shift. So what? The ego has never provided you with an ounce of harmony, peace, joy, nothing that has anything to do with love. It's never provided that. It's given you little bits of anticipation of pleasure that lasts very momentarily, and it keeps having you seek through your identity and through your structure to keep seeking for the answer in your own way, but you will never find it. Because that is the ego's motto, kind of like the Scout's motto. Seek and do not find. Seek and do not find. You will never find harmony, peace, joy, love, the truth of eternal life in the kingdom that you have made to try to protect yourself. And that's really, that's the honesty. That's the place of honesty instead of the perpetual lie that the ego is constantly bringing through. Here comes the honesty. The honesty is that this is what I'm making up. This is from my past. This is the identity that I have agreed with in this lifetime, and it has nothing to do with the truth of wholeness. And I keep trying to make this little world work when it doesn't. We've all walked through that, but it's to continue walking through it. So when Hafiz is asking and saying, you have done well in the contest of madness, this is not an indictment. This is a wake up. Wake up. Recognize the madness in your choices. Recognize that your choices are not serving you, that they're not coming from love. They're coming from desperation. They're coming from the wanting to be in control. But you will never actually be in control, because illusion can't be controlled. And the whole premise of being in control is so upside down, because you're trying to control to be defended against what you perceive to be the enemies of the world. But that has to be like brought into the light so you can see it for what it is, instead of the facade of an identity that you keep affirming is legitimate. Everybody I know remembers this story of the emperor has no clothes, but nobody talks about it. The emperor is walking around naked and everybody's going, oh, doesn't he look lovely in his clothes? Doesn't he look lovely in his crown? Doesn't he look lovely? And it's all a game. And everybody is afraid to say, I really don't see any clothes. I think he's naked. No, you can't say that, because you can't own that this is madness. Instead, you pretend you have new clothes on. And in actuality, it's the same old madness that keeps playing itself out until you say no more. No more, and I truly want to dedicate myself to remembering. And I will begin to truly question the validity of what is coming through this mind. What is it for? Because here's the key too, is that you have the secrets of your healing are all in your mind. The secrets of your healing are all in the mind that projects out, and then you get to see it come back at you also. Because everything that you see is what you believe. And every thought that's coming through is telling you what you believe. It's not that secret, but you have the opportunity to see what's in the way of the truth of your light. Every thought that you come up with that has meaning, that makes sense to you, that has conclusion, that you think makes sense because it gives you a sense of being in charge and you're seeing it how it is and what this is going on. That's your window. That's your window to the pain and suffering that you are making, is what you're thinking in that moment. And how is that possible? I was with a beloved that was saying to me, these thoughts just keep running through and they're driving me crazy, really. She's even recognizing that they're driving her crazy. And yet she did not see clearly, really clearly, that she had a choice. So she was already actually somewhat aware that these thoughts were painful, that they were all about suspicions and fear that she wasn't doing things right, and fear that she would lose control, or fear that the world was a dangerous place, and fear that there was always loss, and fear that there was something that she had to prove and control and gain, and all of this was going on, and she didn't recognize that she had a choice. Not only did she not recognize she had a choice, but to make the choice is the next step, is to actually choose, is actually to bring that into your life. So this is also what beloveds walk through, and no one is carrying anything any different. It's all the same. You think your thoughts are different? You think your thoughts are unique? They're exactly the same as everybody else's. This also includes everybody that's in all the insane asylums. All the mental hospitals are filled with people that are thinking the same thoughts. There's no different thoughts. This is not an indictment. It's also the President of the United States. It's also the President of France. It doesn't matter. None of it has any difference to it. It's all the beliefs of the illusion of separation. And some think they're making progress with it, while we can point at others that say, oh, they're the messed up ones. I was actually, by the time I realized that I was really insane, it was such a gift to finally realize these were insane thoughts, that everything I was thinking was insane, because it was all made up. I'd been thinking them my whole life and kind of correcting them to make them a little bit better, a little bit more socially acceptable. So I didn't obsess over killing somebody anymore. I just wanted to win. I just wanted to be in charge. I just wanted to be right. I smoothed it out so that it was acceptable. But when I actually recognized I was really insane, these thoughts were all insane. The truth of my being was not insane, but what I was making up was insane. And this was the glory. This was the glory of, oh, I don't have to pretend anymore. I don't have to pretend anymore that I'm making sense, because the Holy Spirit is actually showing me I make no sense. There's no sense. Completely nonsensical. Made up, blah, 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 blah. It was all just nonsense. And I was giving it different elements of correctness. Rules of the world. I followed the rules of the world. I could raise my hand and say, yes, I'm a good rule follower. See how insane I am? I follow them all. And I get very upset if I'm not following the rules, because I have a whole litany of rules that I follow and that I'm afraid of stepping out of the lines of. I'm not a rebel, except to God. I was a rebel to God. I was a rebel to God that said, no, 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 I don't want to surrender. Not recognizing that I was completely surrendered to the insanity. And I was afraid of surrendering to God. So I used fear as the rebellion that said, no, I have to take care of all this because I'm so fearful. I have to get a handle on my life. I have to get control over my fear. There is no control over fear. It's the surrender into God and allowing yourself to be led that leaves all of that insanity behind, because it doesn't really exist. What it is really, insanity is actually just illusion. There is no insanity except when you believe it's true and you give your worth to it, you give your allegiance to it, and then you feel insane because there's never any peace, there's never any joy, there's never any harmony. And yet love is calling you to that peace and joy and harmony all the time. There's a beautiful teaching. To open your heart and renounce your assumptions, perceptions, and obsessions moment to moment is the way to love. But this doesn't say, I will magically come and erase these from your awareness without your permission. This is you joining and renouncing your assumptions, your perceptions, your conclusions, your approvals, your disapprovals, your likes, your dislikes, moment to moment into the hands of God. And freedom begins to reveal itself as you surrender all that you believe is happening. All you believe you think you know, all you believe is conclusion, all you believe, and this is not abstract. This is moment to moment. There was a beloved who said, I know all these truths, got them memorized, but I don't live them. Until you actually live the transformation, you can't transform. To question your thoughts, to question the validity of what is this for and where would you have me go and how would you have me be, I am willing. I'm willing to see peace instead of this. So here is the teaching. I'm willing to see peace instead of what I now see. But to actually enter into this teaching, you would actually have to be aware of what you're thinking. You have to be questioning what you're thinking in order to state that you're willing to see peace instead of what you are now thinking, instead of what you're now seeing. You have to be willing to recognize that you're not in a state of peace. And what the ego does is it covers it up. Peace is covered up and not even a possibility. So when Hafiz is saying you have done well in the contest of madness, you were brave in that holy war, that's the holy war. The holy war is, I'm not even aware that peace is not present. I'm so involved and so identified and so enamored with my own thoughts and what I think and what I'm concluding, and I'm not present because I'm not here. I'm in the future already. When you have conclusions that you're thinking about, end results, oh yes, this will lead to this, you're not here. You're not present. And this present moment is where love exists. But when your mind is in figuring out what comes next, you're not here and you're not able to open your heart and you're not able to see peace or to experience peace because you're not here, you're in your mind believing what your mind is making up. And there's no peace there. There's self-righteousness. there's a temporary element of feeling successful. That's a good one. Success. Success is not a permanent state. Everybody is aware of that. You have a little high of success, like you like your decision, you like what you concluded, even though you don't know if it's true or not. It has no basis of anything. But you have a sense of being in control, which gives you a sense of being successful. And when you have this sense of being in control and you feel this sense of success, you believe it's doing something to your worth, but it really isn't, because the success is momentary. Maybe it'll last through lunch. If you started it at breakfast, possibly. But it's not gonna, it can't last because it's made up. So then you have to find another success. And then you have to find another success and another success, and you keep trying to prove your worth. And in those elements of success, you believe you're getting somewhere. You believe that your day is successful. Except when you lay down and you have that same sense of disturbance, that same sense of unpeacefulness, because you're worried about if you can control all the successes that you had in the day, because you have to control them and you have to think about them and you have to keep affirming that this means you have worth, but you never feel that way because you're looking for love in all the wrong places. You're looking for connection, peace through what you're making up, and it's not possible. It is not possible. So there is a teaching. When you have learned how to decide with God, all decisions become as easy as breathing. There is no effort, and you will be led as gently as if you are being carried down a quiet path of summer. When you have learned how to decide with God. When you have learned how to decide with God, which means that you are saying in your prayers, show me the way, I don't know. I don't know how to listen. I don't know how to surrender. I don't know how to trust. I don't know how. But I'm saying I'm willing. Please show me. Please show me how to decide with God. Show me how to be open to that divine communication of love, of guidance. And when you have learned how to decide with God, all decisions become as easy and as right as breathing. Easy. Because there's no agenda anymore. There's nothing to gain from it on a personal level of your worth. You're just saying yes, and you are relieved of the insanity of trying to prove your worth and trying to prove that you're in control when there is nothing to control. How easy is it to walk down a quiet path in summer? Free and open, because there's no backlash from your decisions. When you decide, when you put your decisions into the hands of God, when you are willing to be guided, you are releasing the outcome of everything. And you are trusting in the laws of God, the laws of love, where everything is harmony and peace, and you're trusting in that harmony and peace. And it begins with small things, because it's all about learning to trust. Is it helpful for me to wear these clothes? It doesn't matter about the clothes. It's about the surrender. There's no right or wrong about the clothes except in your own mind. If you are making up your own mind about your clothes, it would be filled with right or wrong. it would be filled with preferences. It would be filled with conclusions. It would be filled with that these clothes are going to give me more worth. If I wear overalls, it will diminish me. And these are all the lies. These are all the lies. This is the emperor with new clothes. You believe your worth is dependent on an outside appearance for protection. It's all based on defense. It's all based on protection of some kind. And the way of listening to the voice of God, listening to that divine guidance, and questioning what you're making up is the way to ease and peace, that you could be walking down a path of ease in the summer. Because there's no repercussions. You're not trying to prove anything. You're not trying to get anything. You're just following and allowing everything to open in harmony and peace, and recognizing the power of love that is the entire universe, and that you are that love, but you can't recognize it when you're in a separate identity, fighting and battling with your world of trying to be in control. Everyone can look back. You could look back lifetimes if you wanted to. But you could look back in this lifetime and even pinpoint the moment, which was probably close after birth, that said, I have to try to get control. And you have been trying to control ever since, through your mind. Thinking ahead. Thinking ahead is a really crazy place to be. Trying to anticipate, trying to think ahead of how things should be so that you'll feel safe. This is insanity. This is pain. There's no peacefulness there. There's no tranquility. There's no trust. It's anxiety. But you've been anxious for so long that you don't even recognize the anxiety as anxiety anymore. You recognize it as good work. You were anticipating that and you figured it out. That's good work. You're not even noticing your nervous system is completely about how to stay in control. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm thinking, I'm knowing, I got it figured out, I know what should happen next. I know. There's no possible connection with your heart in that thinking. When you are thinking, you can't be in your heart. When you are thinking about what you know, you cannot connect to the heart. You can't rest. When you drop into your heart, that's a place of rest. It's a place of expansion, love, flowing, offering. That's the key. The willingness to let go of what you think you know, and allowing and trusting that there is a divine universe that wants to serve you. Oh, teach me to open my heart. Teach me, please. And teach me to open and learn how to decide with God, how to be shown this new way, because it's available for everyone. There is no one that cannot be guided. You have all been guided when you allow. When you come into the moment and allow that I'm willing to be guided. I don't know the way of this world. And the willingness to no longer believe the strategies of the mind and the interpretation that comes through the physical body that says, I don't like this, or I do like this, or I have to be in control of something, trying to control the life. because it never really works. It doesn't have any possibility of working. You cannot understand love or how much you are loved. You can't understand it in this world. There's no way. You have no capacity to understand the truth of love. That's not an indictment. It's that it isn't understood with the mind. And there's nothing here on earth that has given you the possibility of relating to the truth of love and how much you're loved. That you are the divine truth of love cannot be grokked, but it can be accepted and must be accepted. I am the divine truth of love. I am loved. I am loved. I am held. I am the truth of oneness. And all I have to do is let go of what I think I know, which is limitation and separation. And then love can be revealed. It's the willingness to open to that, to the possibility, to the promise that you are so loved because you are that love. And that you can't understand it, but you can accept it. You can invite it. You can let go of what you think you know and come into that stillness and invite love, invite harmony and peace and joy, and live as that, as the harmony and peace and joy, because it's who you are. It's not something you have to earn. It's just that you can't understand it with the mind that made up separation. It's the acceptance. Come into my heart. In the prayer, God being love is also happiness. Let me remember, love is happiness and nothing else brings joy. And so I choose to entertain no substitute for love. That can be your prayer every day. You're affirming with every thought that you have, I want only the joy and the peace of God because it is the truth. Let me remember love is happiness and nothing else brings joy. Love brings joy. Love brings joy because love is joy. And the willingness to accept that as your birthright because it's the truth of who you are. But you cannot serve two masters. You can't serve the pain and the fear and the battle under the disguise of control and knowing, and serve love and the truth. You can't serve both. There's no way. You have to choose. And it's that choosing from moment to moment that is the key, because you have the power. You have the power of love that is within you. The power of love is who you are. It's that willingness to accept a new way, to accept a way that you'll be directed. I said to a beloved, actually this week it's been a week of surrender for so many beloveds. So it was the same teaching. If you're in second grade, and everybody has been in second grade, luckily the second grader doesn't go to class most of the time, there are exceptions, going, I know, and closes their mind to the teaching that will bring them the awareness of 2 + 2 is 4. You have to be open to that. You have to be open to be led. That's the learning place. That's the place where I don't know anything. I don't know how to remember love. I don't know the way of that journey, but I will be shown as I let every teaching show me. Your relationship to guidance is so present, and it's so available. You have all the sacred teachings in the world. They are all your guidance. That's where your guidance is. It isn't just hearing a voice in an auditory way or having a sensation. Those are elements of hearing also, but it's the willingness to be redirected by every teaching that is available to you. That's what teachings are for. So when you stop in the moment and you recognize, I could see peace instead of what I'm experiencing right now, there's guidance right there, because that teaching came to you to redirect you and for you to step out of what you think you know is going on and what you've made up, and that you're willing to choose peace instead. In that moment, that's your guidance. That's the guidance that is showing up for you. And the more that you imbibe all the divine teachings and you begin to live them moment to moment, that you're willing to be redirected by every teaching. So if you look at the teaching, surrendering and changing your beliefs is releasing the cause of your pain and fear. So in every moment you have this opportunity. Oh, I'm going to surrender the beliefs that I have right now. What am I believing in? What am I believing in right now? I'm willing. Is it love? Am I believing in love? Am I believing in wholeness? Am I believing in harmony? Am I believing that God's will for me is perfect happiness? Is that where my faith is right now? Or is it in what I'm making up about something? That's the choice. And that's the coming back again and again and again. Coming back to that holy communion of love and not being willing anymore to be seduced by the trance of identity, seduced by the trance of the past. Here's the double-edged sword. The double-edged sword is, I hate the past. I want the past to disappear, but I keep going back and revisiting the past, and I keep identifying with the past, and all of my conclusions and all of my knowing is coming from the past. So how can it be healed? Except through, I surrender the past, and I don't know how to walk here now. And I'm saying, yes, I want to walk through the teachings of love that are calling me to remember. When I was singing, "Oh, teach me to open my heart. We have strayed from the love of the truth and wandered in pain since our birth. It was all the masters who came here to save us all and to release all this pain here on earth." It's that recognition, I don't want to walk in this pain anymore. I don't want to walk in this illusion of being in control when it isn't peaceful, it isn't bringing me the awareness of harmony. I want to trust. I want to trust in something that is not my own mind, my own knowing, my own past, my own. I want to trust the universe. I want to trust the power of God to take me and mesmerize me in the truth of love and open my heart and burst into that divine recognition. That's what I want. And when you want that, that's what you receive, because that's your that you're inviting it. You're saying, yes, this is what I want, and love responds, because love is waiting to accommodate, to show you the way. There's no battle in love. Love is wanting to show you. Love is wanting to guide you. But you have to invite the guidance. You have to want that guidance. Show me the way, I don't know. And for a while, it's a place that the ego does not like, for sure. The ego does not like this sense of not being in control. So what? So what? This is no different than any addiction. When a beloved is recognizing that they are addicted to drinking, they go through detox. They go through detox because it's a letting go of an agreement that they have made with the alcohol. And in that detox, they're letting go. And they're surrendering. They're surrendering their addiction. And this is the same thing in healing. It's the surrender of the addiction to your own knowing and your own mind that has never brought you to peace, any more than the alcohol has ever brought anybody to peace. It's been the temporary high. It's been the temporary, I'll use this to try to get away from pain. And you've used your mind to try to get away from pain, but it doesn't work, because it's where the pain is actually coming from, as every alcoholic ends up seeing. Oh, the alcohol didn't take me away from pain. The alcohol elevated the pain to a new low. There's no healing there. And there's no healing in the belief of separation and the belief that there's something to control here and defend against. It's the willingness to trust and give your life and your identity and everything into the hands of God and say, I'm ready to be healed. I'm ready to be transformed into the truth of oneness. To remember that that is the truth. And the illusion falls away. The illusion of limitation, separation, and this false identity of pain and suffering. And everything, you begin to see light and love in everything. You begin to feel peace and joy as a natural state, rather than anything else that seems like a temporary pleasure seeking to get away from the pain. The willingness to heal. Let me remember, love is happiness and nothing else brings joy. Love is my heritage and with it joy. These are the gifts that God gave to me, and I will accept all that is mine in truth. Let that be your prayer. Let that echo through your heart constantly, so that you are in that divine state of yes, the willingness to be led, the willingness to be transformed back into your natural state and out of the illusion of separation. This is the choice. This is the light. This is the love. So in this moment, if there are any questions.
Chris, I have a question.
Yes,
about
my
guidance.
darling. Yes, my love.
I had a situation today where I really knew that I wasn't supposed to use my phone while I was driving. Sometimes I put it on speakerphone while I'm driving and talking. I really knew, it was very clear, no, don't do that. But then there was the thought coming in, because that's really dangerous, you know, and you shouldn't do that. And so then I thought, wow, this feels like my ego is trying to hijack my guidance. And because there was the logic in there.
Well, it was the ego trying to hijack the guidance. The element of guidance, when you're open and there's a message that says, for example, don't use the phone while you're driving, there's no story that comes with it. There's no meaning that comes with it. It's just clear. And part of the guidance, most of the guidance, is actually to bring you into trust, to trust the guidance of God rather than your own mind. So there's no meaning given to it, because that's all mind stuff of this means this, and I have to do this because of this, and this is this, and this is this, and it should be done this way because that's all thinking. So when the ego comes in and says this is dangerous, you can feel the energy of the guidance, and you can feel the energy of the ego saying this is dangerous. Well, there's no fear in God. There's no danger. God, the Spirit, is not going to say this is dangerous. The call is for trust and for helpfulness, but it isn't to avoid danger. That's all the mind that just makes everything up. The ego mind that's making up a reason. And that you tapped into because you recognized it, that this is familiar. That's a familiar thought. It's not to be guided not to use the phone is very clear. It's just don't use the phone. Okay. Easy peasy, I'm just relaxed. As soon as the mind comes in and says, yeah, because there's real danger here in using the phone while you're driving or whatever, there's no resting there. There's no peace, there's no tranquility. It's all about protection.
There's reaction.
Reaction, yeah, because perceived danger. And the truth of love will never affirm danger, because there is no danger. There just isn't any danger. If you follow that all the way through, there is no danger in love, because the body identity is what would be in danger, and that isn't the truth of love to begin with. So that the truth of love is never going to bring an element of separation and battle into guidance. There's no battle. There's no separation. So it's not going to bring that element into any guidance, and it will never give you meaning. Guidance is not going to have a story that goes with it that makes you understand it or gives you meaning so that it can be acceptable to you. So you can approve of it. It's kind of like, oh, no, the ego is bringing that in so you could put your stamp of approval on it. Like, oh, that's right, this is dangerous. And then you're giving approval of something that's made up.
Yeah. And I don't need God at all.
No.
I figured the whole thing out. Yeah.
Don't need God. You figured it out by yourself. Yeah. And it's absolutely that to make that distinction between the guidance of love, which is always harmony. Your ego may not like it. So it may be that you get this message to put down your phone and not use it while you're driving, your ego may not agree. Oh, I had a phone call to make. I had to do this. I had to do that. That was I had a whole plan. And now I'm getting guidance not to pick up the phone. The ego doesn't like it.
It helps when it's really clear.
Absolutely.
It was pretty
But it's always acceptance.
Yeah.
That's what an element of the guidance is for, is to let go and trust that you don't need to know why, and you don't need to have a plan that you had in place. It's about surrender and trusting that you can put your life into the hands of God and trust that instead of your own mind.
And I had a situation where I was asking guidance about, if I should buy a certain food item or not. Mm-hmm. And it really was very clear. It was it doesn't matter if you buy it or don't buy it, but don't buy it just to get the discipline going.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's about learning to trust. It's about letting go of your own made-up perceptions about right and wrong, good and bad, I like this, I don't like this, and saying, I don't need to be attached to anything. God will not leave me without. And learning to trust that instead of the control of your own mind, of being right and wrong. I already decided I like this. I already, made a decision based on my likes and dislikes. Then you're always living in the past, because it's all based on what you think you know, rather than what is most helpful here. I don't know. It's the same teaching that I was in for years, but that became very crystallized when I went into seclusion, and I was called not to answer the phone unless I was clear of the guidance. There's nothing bad about the phone. The phone was being used by Spirit for me to let go of attachment to the outside belief that I needed to answer the phone in order to prove my worth or to get something or to connect somehow, but to let that go and open to the oneness that is always here, rather than through what I thought it should be. And then I also got to see, when the phone would ring, I would feel my reaction. I would feel the instant reaction of, I have to answer the phone. What if somebody needs to talk to me? What if they're going to forget me if I don't answer? What if this is important? And the Holy Spirit kept saying, just relax and wait for what is most helpful. I don't know, and I didn't know, and I waited. And I would question, what did I think this was for? What was the purpose of answering the phone? It was always to get something. So until it was completely relinquished of needing to get something, then it was like the phone no longer had me as as that was my lifeline to the world, and that I needed to get something, that I was afraid I would not have something by not answering the phone. And it was the same way as making phone calls was the same thing. What was it for? What was I connecting with whoever I was going to call? And underneath every single time was a perception of needs, that I wasn't whole and complete, and that whoever I was calling had something I didn't have, that there was something to get, and I was using whoever I was calling to get something that I perceived was missing. I was not coming from love. I was coming from the fear of not having enough. I was coming from the fear of being without. And Spirit kept just bringing me back. Be here. Be here in this love. Be content. Nothing is missing. And then everything began to open and it was with everything like that. It was with everything. Show me the way. I don't know. But I'm willing to follow. This is why the hymn, I will follow, where you lead me, I will go. This is all just letting go and trusting and allowing and being one with everything and not having anything missing. But yet, love was always directing, always directing. And love continues to direct because there's no limitation in love. It's just, teach me how to decide with God. Teach me how to open that doorway of accepting love and guidance. Open me to the communion so that I can be aware of how much I am loved because I am being guided. It's not a punishment. It's love.
It helps when the guidance takes away the desire for the other. That once in a while happens. It's not always like that.
No, but that's what begins to open more and more, because then you don't have the addiction going on of what you thought was needed instead of just show me the way. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So in this moment, the willingness to have the beloved guides that were sent to you be your source of direction. That all the beloved guides that have come to you through written teachings, through hymns, through sacred chanting, it doesn't matter how they come, it's the willingness to follow that, follow, and be guided into peace and harmony and love. And allowing that peace and harmony and love to be the natural state. Always, eternally. In this moment, the willingness to open to the abundance of love, the abundance of harmony, the abundance of joy, the abundance that is always all that there is. And in this yes to love and the yes to abundance, the willingness and the acceptance right here, right now, of all beloveds that offer love through their intention and their devotion to love and their sacred offerings of donations that allow these teachings to continue. The yes to love, the yes to harmony eternally.